2 years ago, I recorded a video in which I discussed an interesting theory about how our souls are trapped on Earth. The video proved very popular, and it is a subject that we all need to take into account, as this is potentially one of the most important metaphysical issues having impact on our earthly lives. The idea is that we are imprisoned here by a highly technologically advanced alien race in order to harness energy generated by our suffering and negative emotions. I cannot imagine a talk about spirituality without understanding first if you're here willingly or whether you're held hostage in a dense physical realm. The discussion about this hasn't gone away, and even though the video felt conclusive, there is more people talking about this now than before the upload. I must admit myself that I still keep thinking whether this is a possibility, so I decided to do something that, to my knowledge, no one has ever done before. I want to look at the elements of our human existence and logically assess if what we deal with here could be a result of being kept in an artificial prison against our will, or whether we came here voluntarily from the spirit world according to the rules of the divine development, something that every near-death experience survivor reports after coming back to life. If you want to understand this better, it would be beneficial for you to watch the video called Where We Come From that I uploaded a few months ago, which explains our soul journey in detail. The link is in the video description. Our earthly life is our only source of information, and it is really interesting that no one has ever analyzed it from that angle. This is how I'm going to do this. I'll be only concentrating on facts, staying away from any theories or assumptions. I will look at everything that's happening to us here from both the perspective of a trapped prisoner and of a divine traveler. I will only talk about the aspects that lead us somewhere and offer some concrete arguments. Once I go through all of them, I will make a summary of what we discovered, and that summary will be the most important part of the video, and it will let you decide for yourself, once and for all, which possibility makes more sense. In case this turns out to be a trap, you will need someone who can research all the possible information to get you out of here. If it turns out to be a subjective, self-chosen journey through a dense physical reality, you will need someone who can teach you the rules of this human existence. In both cases, it is crucial to have access to a researcher like me. It is my job to help you, and I can only be here for you if you support me. Gratitude is of utmost importance, and I would want to refer you to the last video on this channel where I discuss in detail the importance of it. There are many methods to sponsor me, where you can either make a one-off donation or join a monthly subscription service. They are quick and easy. You can also buy merchandise, schedule a donation-funded chat, or now come to one of the meetups that are being organized in England, Poland, Netherlands, and Canada. All links in the video description. Thank you for your help. We will start from the undeniable fact that we reincarnate continuously on Earth. This would be the foundation of the soul trap theory. The obvious conclusion would be that we reincarnate because we are trapped here. But looking at this phenomenon from the perspective of someone who decided to enter a physical body to experience progression-triggering lessons in a material world, it would seem that we reincarnate to master the physical existence before moving on to the next stage, whatever it might be. And it would seem logical that we need to come back here as many times as it takes until we can train ourselves to be able to move on to other non-physical lessons. Another closely related aspect to reincarnation, and one of the main arguments in the soul trap theory, is the fact that we have our memory erased when we are born. The entrapment theory is that it is done so that you don't remember that you're a prisoner here. But at the same time, looking from the perspective of a voluntary soul journey we agreed to, it is so that we can focus on our current tasks without being distracted, and regaining the awareness or even the memories is a part of our task here. And these memories is another aspect that we can take into account. Because it seems that no one has any memories of being in any form of a prison system or returning here against their will. There is no available description what this trap looks like and how it functions or who built it, and there are no sources to research. But we do have a detailed description of the spirit world and the afterlife, as there are thousands of books, reports, and videos of people who regain their memory related to the spirit world. There are plenty of sources that describe consistently what that world looks like and how we function in it. It's the same story that we all share collectively. Another aspect that we need to look at closely is, why are we a spirit in a physical body? This duality is also the foundation of the soul trap theory, and according to it, would seem that the body acts as a cage for us. On the other hand, the spirit world theory says that we voluntarily enter and occupy physical bodies to be able to develop and learn in a variety of environments and scenarios to our benefit. The next interesting thing about being a human is that we're all the same. We all represent the same values, and almost all of us are inherently good and loving. The soul trap theory would have to mean that only one type of entities has been trapped on Earth, one species with the same mindset. The spirit world theory explains this as all of us being a part of the Creator and all having the same source and being on the same loving journey of development. And then there's the issue of our dormant superpowers like telepathy, clairvoyance, telekinesis, and astral projection. It would seem that as prisoners, our natural abilities are disabled, but it doesn't explain the fact how come we all have the same superpowers. Why is it that some of us don't have the ability to shapeshift or travel in time? The spirit world approach explains that human bodies act as filters to disable our supernatural abilities to let us concentrate only on the simple aspect of existence and on interaction with other spirits in a physical reality. We sometimes regain them as soon as we leave this reality, have a near-death experience, or when we are in a psychedelic state, and because we're all a part of the Creator, many of us can train themselves in reawakening their manifesting abilities. Then there's the issue of advanced souls and entry-level souls, all being mixed together in the same place. From a prison perspective, it would probably make no sense for all of them to have access to each other, as the advanced souls can easily awaken the rest of society. But from a perspective of this being a metaphysical school, we're all helping each other by coming to this reality in groups at different progression levels. Of course, the majority of society is asleep, blissfully unaware of anything happening around them, not to mention any aspects related to the metaphysical. It's very easy to have an effortless and pleasant experience here, and this seems to be a contradictory to the purpose of low-frequency prison. It seems logical to assume that a negative polarity trap would not allow for many opportunities to get relaxed, and yet there are humans who spend all of their lives just enjoying themselves. The spirit world theory would indicate that some souls come here to take a break from difficult lessons, as it is clear that some humans have very easy existences with only minor lessons to go through, and it's possible that some of the souls are at the end of their earthly journey, and for them there are only a few things left to iron out. It's clear that most of us here are at low developmental stages, and that there are only a few ones who seek answers to accelerate their learning process. Yes, it is true that majority of society is in this state of constant confusion and messy mindset, but there is still a very easy path to be permanently comfortable. From a soul trap perspective, there shouldn't be any choice if the main purpose of it was to generate negativity. It's logical to assume that a much simpler explanation would be that it is so that we can go through difficult lessons that allow us to learn as much and as quickly as possible. We also need to talk about this reality being a simulation based on a simple algorithm. It feels that this is a temporary structure with very basic mechanisms that allow humans to function. We all know that it's extremely unstable and glitchy. And should this be some kind of a secret prison, it would need to be as sophisticated and as high quality as possible to remove any possibility of suspicion from the prisoners. But if you were to explain it with the spirit world theory, it seems it is a very basic, no-fuss realm that acts only as a background to our true purpose of human interaction and development that we shouldn't really pay attention to. Then there's the highly interesting subject of the existence of mind-opening and liberating psychedelics. They are freely available to anyone, anytime, and if this was an artificially created prison system or a world that was taken hostage, they shouldn't exist. If you were to build a prison, you wouldn't leave behind an easily accessible key for anyone to be able to access the map to the door leading out of the prison. But from the metaphysical perspective, psychedelics are here to help us on our developmental journey, and they can be an incredibly useful tool in regaining awareness and in becoming a lucid traveler. Of course, we also need to mention the ability to contact machine elves, spirits, and our higher selves, with plenty of reports talking about communicating with the divine or Mother Nature. In my years of contact with them, me and others have had an enormous number of instructions offered as to how we can thrive in this reality and make it an impactful and significant spiritual journey for ourselves and others.
Yet there is no description how to get in contact with whatever entity or race is in charge of the soul trap. It would make sense for some of us to have at least one experience with them, yet there are none, maybe with the exception of some remote viewing reports of unknown source. What about the aspect of the existence of the divine? From soul trap perspective, wouldn't it make more sense to put in charge of this reality an evil god that would increase our suffering? But instead, we have a deep-seated understanding of the existence of the loving deity that exists to help us on our developmental journey. What's more, we all feel like we're a part of it. It is obvious now that we have here a top-level secret group in control who make sure that everything we know is a lie and that everything is censored and filled with misinformation. Although they're in charge, they seem to be clueless and completely lost when it comes to controlling this reality and us. If this was a trap, it would make no sense for them not to know how to control their own prisoners. You have to admit that they're really bad at it. But if this is a training ground simulation, it would make perfect sense to put in charge a group of entities who need to create chaos and the resulting polarity that acts as a perfect trigger for self-defining, self-expression, and mental training. And then there's the issue of suicide and euthanasia. In our current reality, both of them are rare and pretty much illegal, yet very easy to commit. To harness energy from suffering, one would need to find a delicate balance between creating a painful environment and an environment encouraging enough to stay here, which is completely contradictory and practically impossible. If you wanted to create a painful prison, you wouldn't give people an option to exit anytime they want. This reality is filled with hardship, but not torture. If this was an unbearable slavery, everybody would want to end it as soon as possible, and that's not the case. Only 1% of all the people who die on Earth is due to suicide. Statistically, people who commit suicide are in 10,000th of a percent, which means that 99.9999% of humans want to stay here and continue living. We enjoy life, and we fight to live it for quite a long time. In fact, if anything, life is mostly boring and quite limited until you fill it with love. There's a very simple mechanism that allows you to create for yourself an amazing existence, and it seems that the simple method of implementing love, joy, and hope into your life is in line with the spirit world mission of progression and development on Earth. So now let's go to the summary and break down logically everything that we have just learned a moment ago. If you want to believe that we live in a soul trap, you have to accept the following. We reincarnate in a negativity-generating prison. Our memory is erased so that we don't remember being in a trap. But in terms of generating suffering, it would make more sense to let us have the memories of our struggle. There is no description of the soul trap anywhere. There are no written records of it, and nobody has any memories of it. Yet after billions and billions of existences, there would have to be at least one person who could remember it, and they would pass down the knowledge of the prison system onto others. It never happened. What we have instead are detailed and sophisticated memories from a spirit world, and somehow no one seems to be bothered with improving the entrapment mechanism so that we cannot have any recollections of our origin. For some reason, we cannot be trapped as spirits, so we are trapped in human bodies. There is no explanation as to why we would need this double entrapment mechanism. Us being all the same, it seems that there is only one type of entities in this prison, which again seems to be illogical. We all have the same supernatural powers that are currently disabled, but we can easily train ourselves in getting access to them with the help of the more advanced souls that are trapped in this prison with us. It would be more logical to keep them isolated, yet that's not the case. It seems that this powerful trapping mechanism is good enough to keep us here and make us forget who we are, but it's not sophisticated enough to continuously improve, as we're currently undergoing a huge, out-of-control awakening process on a mass scale. And I should add, initiated by the alleged prison managers. Many of us enjoy ourselves in the Matrix with very little effort, and again, it seems that this soul trap is not technologically advanced enough to create consistent suffering for everyone. It seems to be a very inefficient power plant. You have the choice to be asleep and be oblivious to the nature of your existence, but again, it seems to defy the purpose of this trap. The prison system is not powerful enough to remove any suspicion from us, and we all are free to entertain the possibilities, and better yet, there are tools in form of psychedelics, meditation, or astral projection that allow us to easily go beyond the prison system and learn the truth. It's a trap with easily accessible clues as to how to escape it. This world seems to have no prison manager, but instead, fake religious belief systems were created, and for some reason they instill high-frequency love through worshipping various deities. Again, completely contradictory to the purpose of the soul trap. The prison guards do not have a clue how to control us or how to make us generate negative energy, and it seems that this seemingly painful prison that everybody wants to escape as soon as possible has a microscopic voluntary exit rate because everyone's quite comfortable here. Tell me if this makes any sense to you, because it does not to me. Now listen to the summary of understanding this reality as a training ground simulation we voluntarily access from the spirit world. Pay attention to its simplicity. We reincarnate here because we need to become masters of the physical existence before moving on to the next stage of our eternal progression. We're allowed to have our memory erased so that we can concentrate on our tasks here, but eventually, if we're inquisitive enough, we can find methods of regaining access to our memories. We have a very clear and detailed description of our spirit world gained through countless accounts and reports of those who temporarily left their bodies. We occupy these physical vessels to have the ability to develop quicker in multiple scenarios. We're all made from the same source and we're all on the same journey of development. We can easily discover and reactivate our supernatural abilities if we want to. We come here in groups at different progression levels to help each other, as this is in a way an educational facility for souls. Most of souls here are at low developmental stages, but the advanced ones, by seeking the answers, accelerate their own learning process and that of other souls effectively. You get a choice to come here and enjoy yourself immersed in physical sensations, or, if you want to, you can have a difficult, high-intensity journey. If you want to, you can go through difficult lessons to learn as much and as quickly as possible. The simulation is very simple and it's a perfect mechanism to develop without any distractions. You can easily observe its algorithm. You can even tweak it if you want to. There are multiple methods of increasing the speed of your development, and one of them are psychedelics. They allow you to contact the divine or your higher self anytime you need to go through a reset if the training becomes too complex or too difficult. It's a medicine available to anyone, anytime. You're constantly under the guidance of the divine, your guides, and other spirits who occasionally interfere to help you with completing your training lessons. Loving higher power expresses itself in everything that you're surrounded by. To make your development significantly faster, there's a tiny group of spirits who came here to create polarity, generating perfect training opportunities to self-define and self-express. You will train yourself in generating love while being cut off from the main source of love, the Creator. This dense and low-frequency reality is purposefully boring and limited, and it will stimulate you to eventually discover the power of love and what your purpose here is. The truth is that this reality does not resemble a prison. The simplicity of the summary of the spirit world journey is a very good argument in itself, because almost everything that works in this reality is based on simple principles. The idea of a soul trap seems to be very complex, contradictory, and also highly illogical. Why would it be about harnessing negative energy and not positive energy like in Pixar's movie Monsters Incorporated? High frequency is much more powerful and much easier to generate. Also imagine if you had the superpower to become anyone you want. Think, what would you do? Because first, you would pick pleasant and easy existences to enjoy yourself. But eventually, you would get bored and you would purposely start getting yourself in difficult and more challenging scenarios, seeking new sensations. Being a famous millionaire probably gets old really fast. But there's a simple reason why we came up with the explanation of this reality as being a soul trap. Actually, two. First of them is that us being quite lazy, we don't put any energy into our development, and eventually we end up being subscribed to somebody's ideology, which usually revolves around extortion and possession. We feel tired and frustrated because we don't take the effort to do our job here. We eventually have to work in corporate prisons on a micro scale, which only intensifies the sensation of being trapped. The second reason is that it is clear that in this installment of human structure, we live in the remains of a glorious civilization of the past. This world clearly undergoes regular resets, and there's evidence of another one having taken place only a few hundred years ago, which was ended with a massively destructive war. We live in a conquered world that used to be a paradise, and now it's filled with lies and fake history. What's more, it is clear that the location of this physical existence is geographically limited, and it seems to be some kind of a closed system, something like a laboratory under a dome. It is a subject for another video, but it seems that the idea of a soul trap is just the projection of our struggles with going through our lessons in this limited physical reality. As always, I might be wrong with all of this, so stay vigilant at the moment of your death and question everything that happens around you. But as far as I'm concerned, I think we can close the subject of the soul trap as an entertaining myth once and for all. Love 434. Trapped or not, we need to continue our journey of discovery. If you want to talk to like-minded people, join us on one of the meetups happening in the next few months. If you can't come, please sponsor my efforts to be able to keep yourself educated and entertained. It is crucial to this channel's future. All links below. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Like this video and share it with everyone you care about. For merchandise, go to shop.b434.com. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Visit the website of the artist and the musician I featured here. For more info or contact, visit b434.com and join 434's social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, Telegram, VK, TikTok, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, and a few other ones you can see on the screen now. All links in the video description and at b434.com.